Good morning, everyone. Will the Housing Land Use Committee of October 14th, 2025 please come to order? It is 9:06 a.m. I'm the vice chair of this committee, Nohelani Uuhajins. Chair Kama is out today, so I'll be the acting chair for this meeting. Members, in accordance with the Sunshine Law, please identify by name who, if anyone, is in the room, vehicle, workspace with you today. Minors do not need to be identified. I don't see anybody online, so it looks like it's just us for today. Committee Chair Tasha Kama is excused. Good morning, Councilmember Tom Cook.
Good morning, Chair. Looking forward to today's meeting. There's currently no testifiers in the Kihei Regional Office, and it's a beautiful day.
Thank you. Councilmember Gabe Johnson, good morning.
Good morning, Chair, council members, community members. There's no testifiers at the Lanai District Office, and I'm here and ready to work.
Thank you. Councilmember Tamara Paulton, good morning.
Aloha kakayaka and kia ora tatou. We have no testifiers at the Lahaina District Office. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Chair Alice Lee, good morning.
Good morning, and aloha kako. Sorry I couldn't get my machine to work more expeditiously. I'll just get another one. Thanks.
Councilmember Rollins Fernandez is excused for today, and Councilmember Sinensi may be joining us later. Good morning, Councilmember Sugimura.
Good morning, Chair. Looking forward to a very productive meeting.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
From Corporation Counsel, we have with us Deputy Corporation Counsel Nahulu Nunakawa. Our committee staff include Jennifer Yamashita, Committee Secretary, James Kruger, Senior Legislative Analyst, Ellen McKinley, Legislative Analyst, Carla Nakata, Legislative Attorney, and Leigh Deneen, Council Services Assistant Clerk. Okay, members, for today's meeting, we will receive the Bill 9 Temporary Investigative Group Report under the Sunshine Law. At this meeting, we are limited to only receiving the report. So that means we will not be able to deliberate on the TIG's report. Deliberations on the TIG's report must wait to another duly noticed meeting, which will be held no less than 6 days after this meeting. After I provide a brief presentation on the report, then we will take testimony. Once the testimony concludes, I will ask to defer this item again without deliberation and adjourn this meeting. With that being said, staff, if you could please distribute the report. And while they're distributed, I will begin my presentation in a few. As the chair, thank you. On Bill 9. Because of the Sunshine Law related to the TIG, the report could only be distributed in an open meeting. So that's why it wasn't posted, just FYI, guys. After I do my presentation, before we take testimony, I'm gonna take a brief 15-minute recess for you folks and the members of the public to be able to familiarize themselves with this lengthy report. But I will wait till they're all passed out and then begin all the things I gotta say related to the TIG. Does everybody have it now? Okay. Okay, let me drink some water because this is gonna be 3 pages of words. All right. The Bill 9 Temporary Investigative Group met on September 15th, 16th, 17th, 19th, 23, 27, and 29 of 2025 to conduct its investigation on policies, procedures for transient vacation rental uses in the apartment districts consistent with the purpose and scope set forth in the proposal the committee adopted to form the TIG. The TIG consisted of myself as the chair, Councilmember Paulton as vice chair, Councilmembers Cook and Sinensi as voting members. Present at all the TIG meetings were all 4 of our TIG members, as well as staff from the Office of Council Services Clerk and Nahulu from the Department of Corporation Counsel. Throughout the course of our investigation, we met with various county officials, including the mayor, the managing director. As part of our investigation, we identified several impacts, including the following. While real property tax-related economic impacts to the county are difficult to predict because classifications, tiers, and rates may change over time, especially with Raptor, RPT revenues will likely decrease if most of the apartment district TVRs all become owner-occupied, and would likely decrease the least if they became non-owner occupied. General excise tax and transient accommodation tax revenue will also be impacted as TVR transitions into other uses. Many apartment districts TVRs are in West Maui, where a large number of the residents were displaced by the August 2023 wildfires. Limited water availability impedes new housing development in West Maui, but housing may still become available to displaced residents if TVR owners choose to sell their properties once TVR owners' uses are phased out or use them for long-term rentals. While the intent of phasing out TVR uses in the apartment districts is to increase housing availability for Maui County residents, properties placed on the market may be purchased by local and out-of-state investors as well. A key part of our work identifying apartment district properties where transient vacation rental uses may be appropriate to continue even if Bill 9, CD1 2025 or similar legislation is enacted. The list of those properties is attached to the TIG's report as Exhibit 2. Members, you have that in front of you. Members of the public, it is available online. Okay, where am I? Properties of the TIGs found may be appropriate to continue TVR uses, including those with market values not attainable by most Maui County residents. And those examples include, for instance, properties on Halama Street that had less than 5 units with high assessed values, leasehold properties with a short amount of years left on the lease that could only be purchased through cash-only transactions. Some properties would already be impacted by sea level rise and would not produce long-term housing options for residents were placed on Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 also contains properties that have timeshare units, as discussed in the committee's deliberations, which would not be required to phase out TVR uses anyway. These properties would be placed on the hotel district or resort and hotel-related community plan areas. The TIG reviewed each property individually before placing it on Exhibit 2 to ensure the appropriate use is to continue the TVR uses. This process also allowed us to identify properties that clearly should have been used for residential purposes and to keep them on the apartment district use. We did a thorough review of some of the properties that had title reports that specified residential use only. The TIG voted unanimously to recommend the following. 1, an introduction of a resolution urging the Department of Planning to introduce legislation establishing H3 and H4 hotel districts in Section 19.14 Maui County Code that are basically a like for like with A1 and A2 apartment districts respectively, except that TVR uses will be outright permitted. Council initiated changes in zoning from A1 to A2 apartment districts to H3 or H4 hotel districts respectively, once the H3 and H4 districts have been established for the properties noted in Exhibit 2. Changes to community plan designations for properties noted in Exhibit 2 and located in South Maui are a part of the Council's review of the South Maui Community Plan update, which is going to be coming before us shortly. Council initiated changes to community plan designations for all properties noted in Exhibit 2. I would like to make it very clear and to note that the TIG's recommendation do not include amendments to Bill 9 CD1 2025. The creation of the new hotel districts eliminates any gray areas in which hotel uses are conducted in apartment districts. The TIG made these recommendations with the goal of ensuring that apartment district properties converted from TVR uses would serve as long-term homes and they stay in the hands of local families, potentially for generations, and to be used as long-term rentals. Additionally, implementing those recommendations would shift TVR uses to hotel districts and keep the apartment district reserved, again, for residential uses, mitigate the decrease in RPT revenue resulting from TVR's converting to other uses, lessen the impacts of phasing out TVRs in the apartment districts could have on hospitality-related businesses and jobs. Again, members, we cannot do any discussion today. Members of the TIG and I will happily answer any questions you may have in our next meeting. To clarify, we all can ask clarifying questions of the testifiers in the future, but no clarifying questions amongst us. Okay, now, thank you, members, for the opportunity to provide this presentation on the TIG's report. And with the issuance of this report, this TIG is officially dissolved. Thank you to the TIGers for all of their hard work. At this time, it is 9:16. Members, I'm going to take a 14-minute recess to return at 9:30 to give you folks an opportunity and the members of the public the opportunity to review the TIG report. It is 9:16. We'll come back at 9:30. Oh, Member Paulton, do you have anything to add?
Oh, no, I didn't see it online, but I just refreshed and
Okay.
it came up.
Okay, thank you. Oh, it is 9:17, and we are now in a 13-minute recess till 9:30 for you folks to review. Welcome back, everybody. It is 9:35, and will the HLU meeting please reconvene? We are going to begin with testimony now on HLU 4(1). As a reminder, today's item is for the Bill 9 TIG and the TIG's report, not necessarily on Bill 9 itself. So I just ask testifiers to keep that in mind when providing testimony. Testifiers wanting to provide testimony should sign up in the lobby, join the online meeting via the Teams link, or call into the phone number noted on today's agenda. Written testimony is encouraged and can be submitted via the e-comment link at mauicounty.us/agendas as well. For individuals wishing to testify via Teams, please raise your hand by clicking on the raise your hand button. If calling in, please follow the prompts via phone, *5 to raise and lower your hand, *6 to mute and unmute. Staff will add names to the testifier list in the order the testifiers sign up or raise their hands. For those on Teams, staff will lower your hand once your name is added. Staff will then use the name you've logged in under or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your time to testify. Excuse me. At that time, staff will also enable your microphone and video. Please ensure that your name appears in Microsoft Teams as the name you prefer to be referred as, or anonymous if you wish to testify anonymously. If you are in person, please notify staff that you would like to testify anonymously. Otherwise, please state your name for the record at the beginning of your testimony. Oral testimony is limited to 3 minutes per item, and if you are still testifying beyond that time, I will kindly ask you to complete your testimony. Once you are done testifying or you do not wish to testify, you can also view the meeting on Akaku Channel 53, Facebook Live, or mauicounty.us/agendas as well. We will do our best to take up each person in an orderly fashion. And right now, staff, if you could please call the first testifier. Thank you.
Chair, the first testifier is Lonell Newman, to be followed by David Diven.
I'm Linnell Newman, and I don't feel that I need to testify because a lot of the things that I was going to mention have already been clarified.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to tell everybody how much I appreciate this compromise, and I think it's a
Okay,
good compromise.
thank you.
And I look forward to finding out more about it as we go. I do really agree.
Okay. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is David Diven, to be followed by Steve Meyer.
If you don't feel like testifying, you don't necessarily have to give a speech. You just don't have to come up. But you can come up to the front if you do feel like testifying. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the council and the TIG for their very hard work. That I'm sure this is obviously a very high emotional subject. I am a owner at Napili Ridge which I believe, I'm not, actually uncertain whether it is still affected by it or not, but I am testifying in favor that I have, for a longtime owner at Napili Ridge, I've observed over the years in the AOAO meetings that as more and more units went to short-term rental, it became more and more a subject of complaint and decision in the owners' meetings. That I am in favor that properties who are apartments should stay apartments and not have short-term rentals. That I am also in favor of properties that are clearly, whether they're designation or not, they're hotels. They've got a front desk. They've got bellhops. They've got restaurants. They employ maids. They employ laundry services. They should stay hotels. But the ones that are substantially apartments should stay apartments. Think that's the basis. I really appreciate the very hard work, like the lady before me. Many of my concerns, I went, as soon as Tasha Kama sent the mailer out, and I went to the tax office and said, hey, how do I find out what's on it and what's not? And they gave me a list of properties. And I would look at this list of properties, and because I've spent years working in servicing fire alarms and air conditioning controls in the resorts, I knew many of these properties. I worked in, and some of these properties I went, what? That doesn't make sense. And other properties like mine, I went, well, of course that makes sense. And I'm very glad that this investigative group has made a real effort to proceed deliberately on the goal of retaining both uses that are appropriate and housing that is appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Members, any clarifying questions? I'm sorry, Miss, can you please
Thank
come
you.
back? Member Sugimura.
Unfamiliar.
That's okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. So you're saying you're an owner at Napili Ridge,
Correct.
and it should, from your testimony, I'm trying to piece it together. It
Yes.
should stay apartment, is what you're saying, not hotel.
Oh, yes.
Chair,
Yeah.
Napili Ridge is part of Napili Bay Civic Improvement District. It's not a part of Bill 9.
Yeah, so that's what I said. I'm mostly here just in support of this process, that whether or not I am personally impacted is not nearly as important to me as that the process is proceeding deliberately with looking at all factors, making decisions that are highly emotional and will affect people.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony. Staff, next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Steve Meyer, to be followed by Ruel Metcalf.
Okay. Steve Meyer.
The testifier is on Teams.
Yeah.
Hello, you may begin.
Thank you all for giving us a chance to briefly talk. I've testified before, so I won't take too much time. I just appreciate the TIG and all the work you've done. I wasn't able to pull up the document, but I'm sure it'll pop up eventually so I can actually read it. I'm not sure what's in there. We own and manage and have had condos at the Maui Sunset down in off of Waipualani Park. There's a bunch of us condo complexes down here that have been vacation rental or transient accommodations, and midterm and long-term. It's a great mixed-use property for 45 years. I've been doing it 20 plus years, and it's a great. What the point I'd like to make is it's a part of the economy that's not hotel. And we don't want to be a hotel with bars, and that would change the whole thing. But we're also not just residential apartment. We have a nice mixed use. We accommodate traveling nurses for 3 months at a time. We do workers that have been. I had a ton of folks working on the Lahaina project that stayed with us for a few months. Coming from Oahu, and so they have no other affordable place to stay now that the Maui Lu's gone. Even up in Kahalui, the condos up there, the hotels are more high end now, so there's not a lot of affordable places to stay in Maui, so we fit that bill. Yeah, thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Members, any clarifying questions? Member Sugimura.
So your list, your Maui Sunset is on Exhibit 3. So just when it pops up, so basically you'll be allowed to continue the use, I guess, is what you're saying? That's what you want?
We would like to allow, yeah, we're also 20% timeshare and other stuff. We would like to continue the use that we have now.
And not be impacted by this bill. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Members, any other clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Ruel Metcalf, to be followed by Deandre Makakoa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Of course.
It's been 24 years since they started the ministerial list. 24 years we've been discussing the same thing over and over again. My idea, and it is my idea, so my idea is we pay, out of our vacation rental, we pay $1,000 a month or more every month for the taxes that are paid by the visitors. So
Thank you.
what you're looking at is you got 7,100 vacation rentals that you're targeting right now. And the 7,100 paying on an average of $1,000, that's $7 million a month. So why the state, the county is saying that they don't need that money anymore because they want to do away with the vacation rentals. So if they say they don't need that money anymore, take the $7 million a month, buy 10 homes, 4 families. Buy 10 homes that will fit what the families need. Not a vacation rental that's a 1-bedroom. Buy a 3-bedroom home. They're on the market right now. The market is fairly full of homes to buy. Buy the homes. You're only buying 7 to 10 the first month, then the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and you'll do something. Not kick it down the road 24 years. You'll do something for these people, the people that need homes. And the county and the state doesn't have to lose the money. You don't have to give these homes to people. You rent the homes to people. You rent those homes for whatever the families can afford, whatever they will afford, because the county and the state are buying it with money that came from the vacation rentals. Nobody's losing. The people that have the vacation rentals are still generating, and there's your cash cow. You're making money every month. You can put more money into it every month with a never-ending amount of money. And this could be done. Many of the cities have come along and bought low-income housing, maybe a whole apartment complex. Buy what you need. You come along, you're getting this money in. For 24 years, how much money has the short-term rentals generated? Well, you could have solved this problem 21 years ago. You people are the ones that can solve this problem. You can be the heroes. But no, so many people are trying to make the short-term rental people the villains. We are not villains. We invested in your island. We live on your island. I do. Some don't. And they come along, and the ones that don't live here, that's the one you villainize. And it's like, wait a minute. Those people are paying somebody to manage. They're paying somebody to do the maintenance. Everything they do, they pay more money to keep it. Plus, they've bought into your real estate. They've invested in your island, invested into your people. So that's about all I have to say. But I would like for you to consider it. I think it's a win for everybody. I think the county and the state could win because they'll never lose the money. They have the assets.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is DeAndre Makakoa, to be followed by Jackie Keefe.
Aloha.
Hello, Council. Mahalo nui for your time. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to address a little bit of concern with some of the recommendations regarding the shoreline. Most of West Maui, the list is located on the shoreline, so that would kind of carve out thousands of units. And the thing that necessitated Bill 9 was kind of the fire and the housing crisis. So to carve out thousands of units in the town where we need housing the most is a little bit concerning. Obviously, we believe in climate change. We've lived here all our lives. We've seen it changing drastically throughout our short lifetimes. But the need for housing right now outweighs that, the fear of the shoreline rise, which is kind of decades down the road. But by definition, long-term housing is anything over 6 months. So when you're saying it doesn't really qualify or is not eligible for long-term housing, I would disagree, because a lot of our community who are still displaced would consider anything over 6 months or anything over a year as a blessing as long-term housing. I just wanted to address that. And then one thing I would like to say is that there's so much concerns about losing income and losing money, but we're losing people. And I think as our elected officials, as representatives of the people, that should be more important, is figuring out creative ways to keep people here rather than sticking to the status quo because we might lose some money. But mahalo nui for your time.
Thank you very much. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Jackie Keefe on Teams, to be followed by Tom Crowley on Teams.
Sounds good. Aloha, Ms. Keefe.
Aloha, mai kako. Mahalo for this opportunity today. My name is Jackie Keefe, and I first would like to echo what DeAndre said about the shoreline properties. I think it's really important that we don't make any rash decisions regarding those properties, since they do make up such a large percentage of these short-term rentals. But the other thing that I really wanted to touch on is that I know that some of the things that the TIG addressed were, you know, economic reports versus housing reports. And I want to point out that without the environment, we have no economy. And so I think we get a little bit lost in the economic conversation without social effects were the other thing. And so we get a little lost in the economic conversation without putting enough emphasis on the social piece, on the quality of life for our residents. But quality of life for our residents when we have no water, when we have no, like there is data showing that these units are worse for our environment when they are being held by tourists rather than our local families. And so I just thought it was really important to say those things to you today. So mahalo for this opportunity, and I look forward to seeing what happens today.
Thank you, Ms. Keefe. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Tom Crowley, to be followed by Brian Whitman. Tom Crowley's on Teams.
Thank you. Aloha, Mr. Crowley.
Aloha, committee. Thank you, Tom Crowley, speaking on my own behalf. First, I want to sincerely thank the TIG for the hard work that they did. 7 meetings in this short period of time. You were giving a lot of your time and effort to this. And I am in full support of the recommendations being made, but I think they need to be tightened up and clarified a bit. When we say property is non-attainable, obviously I think we have to put a number associated with that so that we can, figure out which properties fit and which properties don't. I don't think that you're submitting this list as a firm list at this point. I would think that's still open. And something that I would like you to consider maybe adding to the criteria that you've already put forward is the history of the use in these developments, in these apartment complexes. Some of them, the history of the use has been primarily more than, say, 50% short-term rental use. And some of them, it was probably primarily and less than 50% apartment use. The hard part of this distinction is it wasn't until more recently, like 2020, where we made the difference between someone using it as a second home and someone using it as a long-term rental. So when we look back, it's hard to know which of those were second homes and which of those were long-term rentals. And that leads to a second issue here, which is do recognize that even though we have lots of units that have been built since 1991 that are not part of the Minatoya list in any way, shape, or form, and we would hope that those units are being used to house residents, my observations are more than 50% of those units are still used as second homes. So there's as much to gain from trying to incentivize using those units as resident housing as what we're talking about right here in this list. But this work that you did is what I really, really hoped was being done or would have been done over the whole year that Bill 9 was being considered. So now you've done you've done the hard work of getting this started, and I agree that we do need to further refine this. But I think this is a very, very good start to a solution here. So again, I thank you all. I'm sure there'll be many more meetings about this, and there you go. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Staff, next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Brian Whitman, to be followed by Junia Nakoa on Teams.
Hi, aloha. I'm Brian Whitman. I wrote this up, so I'm just going to read it. Aloha, my name is Brian Whitman. I just want to give you one person's background story. My parents bought a one-bedroom condo in Ma'alaya back in the 80s. I think it was under $50,000. It's in the Honokai building, which is on a Minatoya list. My dad died in 1998, and my uncle moved in with my mom to keep her company. My mom died in 2002, and my uncle died that same year. Then in 2003, my brother moved in, and he stayed there until he died in 2023. We never used it for vacation rentals, just family use, so the taxes always stayed low. It would be nice to be able to keep it. My brother died right when the governor wanted people to offer apartments for fire survivors, so we rented it to FEMA, and they paid a lot for a while. So we haven't had to make a long-term decision yet. There's no mortgage anymore, but the association fees are really high for the place now. $1,470 a month. That's just association fee. Electricity is about $200 a month. The condo rules require insurance, so that is another $1,200 a year, another $1,300 a year for Maui County property tax as a long-term rental. So doing the math, that's over $1,900 a month in expenses, not counting repairs, just to break even. Another way to say that is it costs $63 a day to break even. And that is if it's being used for long-term rental. If the place is used for vacation rentals, the property tax goes up to $6,000 a year, so then the break-even cost becomes $77 a day. So here's what we can look forward to. If you folks don't pass Bill 9, we can choose to pay the $6,000 a year county property tax and then try to get enough short-term bookings per month to cover all those fees, plus paying local cleaning fees, which is somebody's job, transient accommodation tax, etc. And if we do make a little profit, then we pay income tax on that too, state and federal. One advantage is that when it's not rented, we can let the family still use it. 5 of my kids live on the continent now, and they like to visit home when they can afford it. My kids all grew up swimming in Grandma's pool there in Ma'alaya. Or we could try to get a long-term lease, but we would have to charge at least $2,500 a month for a walk-up 500 square foot apartment with just one parking space. It doesn't even have a real bedroom, just a shoji screen. To offer any kind of affordable rent, the profit would have to be very small. Repairs would probably eat most of it. The lease would have to be 12 months to follow county rules, so we could never use it ourselves. So if you guys do pass Bill 9, that's going to be our only choice other than just lose $63 a day or sell it. The county lists the value right now at $432,000, but that's not true anymore. When we were talking recently with a realtor friend about selling it, she said it should be listed at $295,000, or else no one would even be interested.
Mr. Whitman, can you please wrap up?
Okay, I have one more paragraph. Is that okay?
One more sentence is fine.
Okay. If current owners end up selling their places cheap because you folks passed Bill 9 and they can't do their short-term rentals anymore, guarantee the new buyers are not going to be local families. Paying a mortgage on top of all those fees, it would be way too much. It's going to be out-of-state retirees with cash who will grab the good deals, move here, and then pay low tax by being resident owners. The housing crisis for locals will continue, and Maui County will lose a lot of tax revenue and vacation rental jobs for nothing. I just hope you folks are really thinking ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any clarifying questions?
I apologize.
Seeing none, thank you very much. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Junia Nakoa on Teams, to be followed by a return to Lionel Newman.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. First thing first is, like the camera guy said, DeAndre Makikoa, most of the short-term rentals is all on the shoreline over here in Honokoi and Kahana area and all that stuff, and you can get one in the burn zone, so we gotta make sure we know eliminate those buggers, because my daughter, when she was in FEMA, she was over there. she was on one of the shoreline apartments, yeah. And the sick part about them is my grandson, who was, just born last year, just made one a couple weeks ago. I had to worry about all these short-term rental guys coming in, every week and living right next door to my daughter. So, with this TIG report that I, was kind of shocked, so it's kind of good, is that make sure we do them right and make sure we take care. The main reason why we are talking about SDRs is because of Lahaina and the Lahaina fires. So let's keep that in mind. And let's make sure that all these people that is about here at the temporary homes out here, Kalaiola, the other FEMA one, that these guys, most of them, majority of them is renters. Yeah? So maybe these guys can go over there and stay at the ones that are on the shoreline. Or anyone, any of them, any of the short-term rentals, change them into long-term. The main thing everybody gotta remember is we're trying to make it long-term. So our residents get place for stay. Remember that one brother who was saying in Honokowai, he said all the tenants over there was all residents of Lahaina. But since the thing became short-term rental, only had like 4 or 5 residents. That is, that is full-time residents of Lahaina and Maui. So we need to get, Lahaina needs to stay Lahaina, like everybody said. But Lahaina cannot be Lahaina without its people. Okay? Because we badass. We don't fuck around. We stay strong. We fight. And we're going to kill. Yeah, we're going to keep on fighting. And so let's keep our Lahaina people home. Yeah, and so that's what I have to say. And, let's talk about, how everybody says they're losing money. We're losing our people. We're losing our people. We're losing our people. Okay, gang.
Thank you, Mr. Nakoa. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Staff. Aloha. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Lionel Newman, to be followed by Paele Kiakona.
Aloha, sorry,
Thank you for joining us at the mic.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for joining us at the mic.
Well, I wasn't sure if this would be redundant, but after hearing some of the other testimony, I feel like maybe I'll just throw it out there and see where it sticks. So my name is Lionel Newman. I am a part owner of a family-owned property management company established in 1980. First of all, I want to clarify, I've been listening to testimony for hours and hours and hours over the past few years, and I want to clarify that the owners that I represent are not greedy mainlanders. These are hardworking individuals who deeply love this island and consider it a second home. Many invested in these properties for retirement and occasional visits, an option now in jeopardy, hopefully not after this. I empathize with those affected by the current housing. I really do. I've been here 50 years. And I believe it's important to provide a complete picture for everyone here in the gallery and anyone listening and the council members as well. I have followed this issue for years, even before the recent fire, and proposed Bill 9. Previously, I voiced concerns to the council about local condos historically being used for long-term rentals and now being converted to short-term rentals. This happened around 2020. I think somebody else mentioned that. I observed this trend in areas like Honokowai and Napili, particularly Mauka properties, and those up Huyef, which happens to be Napili Ridge, and which often had lower purchase prices and AOAO dues. Due to the shared zoning, these units were permitted as short-term rentals unless individual condo bylaws prohibited them. At that time, I provided the council with names of these properties, including Napili Ridge, originally built in 1970 as workforce housing. My understanding is that was built for the Kapalua land as workforce housing, which I thought was one of the things that was going to be tried to revert it back. of its 133 units, 66, I counted, are currently listed as short-term rentals, which I totally empathize with the gentleman prior to this. I also mentioned Maui Lani, Kahana Manor, and Honokawai Palms. Kahana Manor is in the hotel zone, but all my friends have lived there. It's above Dolly's. It's nowhere near being what I consider to be a vacation destination.
Chair, point of information, none of this pertains to Bill 9 or the TIG report because those properties those are in the Pili Bay Civic Improvement District, already zoned hotel, so it's not pertaining to what we're talking about. The Bill 9 was for apartment zone districts, apartment 1 and 2, not hotel zoned or in the Pili Bay Civic Improvement District.
Okay, I have some things that I would like to just talk about. While distinguishing between historically short-term rentals and recently converted ones is complex, I believe this distinction offers a fair path forward. Discussions about potential exemptions on initial short-term rental start dates and grandfather clauses seem like fair compromising. If housing availability is the core issue, it is also worth noting that there are currently 46 rentals under $4,000 on Zillow, 25 from 14 to 3,500 on Craigslist, many of which have been available for nearly a month. The property I manage has 500 square foot, one-bedroom units with one parking spot. The elevator is currently under repair. The building facade is crumbling.
Thank you very much.
And there are still sinkholes despite $1 million recently being spent on a seawall. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Pa'ele Kiakona, to be followed by Marilyn Steinmetz on
Sounds
Teams.
good. Aloha.
Aloha. Good morning, Council. Chair, mahalo for the opportunity to speak today. Pa'ele Kiakona on my own behalf. And I understand a lot of the reasoning for the TIG report is, to look at specific places that could be impacted or inundated by sea level rise, or also just weighing out the economic impacts that this could potentially have. And, as we dig deeper into those economic impacts, we see that some of these, it is not a like for like, yeah? Even though we're maybe cutting about half, right? We have 14,000, 15,000 or so. We're only talking about the half, this 6,000 to 7,000. Many of these places are in a parcel that is not fully, say you have 400 units in this one little parcel that is down by the beach, and then you have the same short-term rental that is permitted up in Launiopoko. Launiopoko would be actually paying more property tax throughout the year rather than these 400 units on this one parcel. So it is actually skewed more towards the legal side of the short-term rentals when looking deeper into it. I know some of this is in the report, but when we look at the real property tax value, the projected loss is about 15, 20%, something like that. But as far as the economic impacts, I know you folks are trying to weigh that because the economic engine or the economics and revenue that you folks do generate is what you utilize to fix certain things in roads and stuff like that. So for the sole benefit of the people of the place. So when we speak about, for say, Ma'alaya, I know there is trajectory to go in and potentially look at beefing up the infrastructure in that area so we no longer use the injection wells and utilizing that R1 water. Well, if that's the case, and if our taxpayer dollars are going in to do something like that, then it should be benefit for the people, just in my opinion. If we're gonna sink money into it as a county, then the people of the place should still be benefiting from that. And I know these were kind of left off of the list to be converted, and maybe something to look into, to consider down the road. Aside from that, we looked at the Lokelani's intended use in their documents from the very beginning. And it clearly stated in there that no apartment shall be rented by the owner or owners thereof for transient or hotel purposes. And I know that is one of the ones that are on the Slerexa, but when we're looking at the sea level rise and these places that are in the Slerexa, we're looking at the year 2100. And that's kind of a long time from now for us to be thinking too far ahead when our people just need something right now. So just context and things to consider. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Members, any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier is Marilyn Steinmetz on Teams, to be followed by James Langford on Teams.
Can you please call her again? And if not, we can move on to the next testifier and call her back in a few.
Marilyn Steinmetz, you're unmuted on our end. You'd have to unmute on your end in order to testify. Chair, she might be encountering technical difficulties. Perhaps we should move on to... Oh, she's unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Chair, she might be encountering technical difficulties. Perhaps
There's
we
a
should...
reverb though, so if you could please silence one of your devices so we can hear you clearly.
Oh, you can hear me now?
We can, but there's a reverb. Can you please silence one of your devices if you have more than one on?
Oh, you can hear me now? Hello?
Hi.
Hello? Am I on now?
You are.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm not used to doing this. I want to say that I'm very glad that you are considering, I can't hear myself, so I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you. You can continue.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad that you are considering adjusting the bill, because I am extremely worried about the economic impact. And there are a couple things I don't understand. I live in South Kihei. I've lived here for 24 years. I have felt the economic impact of all this controversy and this negativity that's hanging over Maui, that's affecting everyone. But what I don't understand is, I am naive. I guess I thought zoning would be like a couple blocks back from the beach. It's residential or apartment, that's understandable. But almost all of South Kihei Road is very much commercial and vacation rental, yet it hops around. It's like Haleakala Shores is apartment, Kamaoli 1 is apartment, but then maybe the one in Kamaoli Sands, which was obviously built for vacation rental, and Maui Vista is apartment, and it's got 3 swimming pools and 3 tennis courts. You don't build workforce housing with 3 swimming pools and 3 tennis courts. So I'm kind of confused as to why when these were built for vacation rental purposes, why the zoning wasn't changed to be appropriate for their usage. Another thing that would be nice is if we could have a list of the ones that were built for workforce housing. I don't know where that list is. So I'm really appreciative of the people that did this study, that they're going to take these ones that are obviously vacation rental and leave them out of this decision or this Matoya list and not letting them continue as a vacation rental. I'm very appreciative of that. The one other thing that I don't understand is why that timeshare would be exempt when it's basically the same thing. It's a short-term rental, and your vacation short-term rental is not exempt. I don't see where that is equal or fair. And just like I say, I'm just worried that Maui County is going to go bankrupt or put a burden on the residential people to make up for the loss in the taxes. And, these people paid a lot of money for their units. And I don't believe that this is helping anyone, especially when it's 3 years out or 5 years out on making this decision, and they don't want to live somewhere where there's one parking stall and no pets and a very high maintenance fee. Thank you for my time.
Thank you very much. To clarify, this TIG is not making a recommendation to alter Bill 9, but rather make sibling bills related to Bill 9. Members, any other clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next and currently last person signed up to testify is James Langford on Teams.
Aloha. Hello?
We can hear you, Mr.
Hello?
Langford. You're welcome to testify.
Oh, thank you. Aloha, Chair, Council Member. Bill 9 and this TIG, it's, what we're hearing is it responds to devastating wildfires, right? It focuses, though, on dollars for those vehicle response, not the people behind them. So under the aid to Aloha that you take, I ask, how much does a survivor's life cost for the budget? Are we just honoring human dignity at all, or just ledger? You know, so you guys swore an oath to an obligation to care. People are eyeing on future generations. Yet, Bill 9 allocates millions for capital and operations without fully accounting for the human cost of recovery. So we need transparency, integrity, governance. TIG in action. Recovery, not just about infrastructure. It's about the lives lost and counting all of them. The families displaced, the paperwork signed to lie about it, and the trauma that we all endure as a result of those lies. Every allocation needs to reflect the value of human life, not just the cost of materials and projects. So I ask, how does the budget reflect Aloha? How does this TIG, the survivors, the children, the Kupuna represented in your priorities? I need to know that. So the charter reminds us governance is stewardship, life, liberty, land, legacy. Money alone does not restore what was lost. But the decisions that you guys make, that does. So money alone can't restore. But I need you guys to guide us with Aloha and ethical responsibility in this HRS 92 TIG of transparency, integrity, governance. So I need to know what the value of human life is, not the value of someone's second. And that's what our community needs to do. And we need to understand your motivations for voting about capital instead of Aloha. So that's what I posed to you guys today. Had a great court case that I won this morning, so looking forward to seeing you guys be transparent with integrity in your governance going forward. May each breath find us with you. Thank you.
Members, any clarifying questions? If not, thank you very much for your testimony. Staff, next testifier, please.
Chair, no one else has signed up to testify, but I see someone approaching the podium.
Mr. Law.
Aloha kakahiaka, aloha kako, aloha akaku. Thank you, Kahope Luna Ho'omalu. Thank you for letting me use that word for the first time. Kahope Luna Ho'omalu U'uhajins. JC Law from Kuloka, Waikoa, Ahopoa'a. I'm not used to seeing this many people here in the chamber. And my first thought was like, yeah, just go ahead with the law, and sorry, you guys, too bad. Thank you all for thank you everybody for being here. Some people's probably gonna fall inside the cracks and then have to, like the one guy is talking about, his family is living here and stuff. And I know you council members know that some people are gonna have to like give it up. But I wish, and I'm not trying to make more work for you guys, but I wish there was some kind of like appeals process so you could look at each case by case individual. And one of the qualifications would be that people actually came here to find out what's going on. The Hawaiian word of the day is ho'olima lima, means rent. I would highly suggest to you guys that you put heavy value on Councilmember Paulton's words and opinions, and that you get the laundromat over there in Lahaina as soon as possible.
Any clarifying questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Next testifier, please, if we have any.
Chair, no one else has signed up to testify. We can proceed with last call.
Please do so.
If anyone is in the audience or on Teams would like to testify, please come up to the mic and begin your testimony, or use the raise your hand function on Teams, and staff will unmute you.
We have somebody walking down right now.
Thank you for having me. My name is Jim Pereza. I'm a full-time Key resident. I wanted to give a quick real-life example. I had a nephew come 2 weeks ago to Maui. He stayed for a week on the west side in a little Airbnb, went to L&L Barbecue, went to Poppy's for cinnamon rolls, went on hikes, went to Makawao for ate a little grill, supported all the small businesses. The last 3 days of his trip, he came to Grand Wailea. He travels a lot for work, had points so he could afford to stay there. He made a comment to me that he goes, I don't know if I'd come back again to the resort, because the kids, they love the resort. They don't want to leave the resort. We spend 24/7 at the resort, so they're not spending any money on the local economy, the local businesses. So any of that profit that the Grand Wailea gets is going back to the mainland, to corporate America, and none of that money is staying here. So I just wanted to pass along that real world example. I've testified before. I won't spend any more of your time. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, members. Any clarifying questions? Member Paulton. 1 second. Mr. Pereza, we have a clarifying question for you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Pereza, for your testimony. I just wanted to clarify, when your nephew went to Dolly's or Poppy's, did he not also see local people at Dolly's and Poppy's?
He didn't mention, but I'm sure he did. Absolutely.
I mean, local people do go to Dolly's and Poppy's as well.
Right.
So, I mean, we also spend money in the local economy as well.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Last call again, please. If we
Chair, we
didn't
have two more
any-
testifiers signed up now.
Okay, sounds good. Please call them.
The next testifier is Case Smart on Teams, to be followed by Tom Rogers on Teams.
All right, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for being here, you guys. I really appreciate all your hard work. I just want to say something really quick. Eliminating these Minatoya list units won't help the Maui economy at all. And I know you've heard this before, but just hear me out. As it will only force owners to sell their units, like myself, who can't afford to keep it as a long-term rental due to a $3,000 or $4,000 per month deficit it causes the owner. They won't go to local owners either, as the monthly maintenance cost of these to upkeep is just too expensive. So this will cause more mainland owners. I know you've heard this, just hear me through, but it is true. It is true. I know this. So it's going to go to all these mainland owners, which is, I thought, was kind of defeating the purpose, and also defeating the purpose because it's not going to go to local owners because it's not attainable, affordable, or anything. Also, I'm going to go on to the next one. And the whole purpose was to free up attainable housing, correct? And it's not going to do that. So the narrative that we are losing people and we need to think about the people, not money. Yes, exactly. Bill 9 hurts the people. It won't house people. It won't drive condo prices down, except for these condos, but it is still not attainable to buy because the HOAs and all that are expensive. You heard that. But I want to tell you one thing. A huge house, a house for the same price, costs less mortgage than these condos because of all those HOA fees. For example, I just did a quick Redfin thing, and a 2-bedroom house would cost $4,966 a month, where the 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo would cost $4,400 a month. So just a few hundred more a month, and you have a house, no HOAs, no huge expenses that keep going up and up and up. That is the smarter thing. Take the houses that are vacation rentals and make those attainable for people, and then they can put more people into those houses. It just sounds like a smarter decision. Okay, and so they pay the same or less mortgage on a house than they do for these condos. And these condos, even at a cheap price, they're just too expensive. Do the math. You got to do the math. Also, why oceanfront only condos eliminated? And I can't find that example 3. I don't know if you can tell me where to find it. But I saw example 2. And it said, I have a condo at Pax Shores. It shares a fence with the Maui Coast, who got to expand, and they have nightly music. And also the hotel next door, the Maui Vista, was on the list to keep, I think, but Pax Shores is not, although they're next to this, they're sandwiched between those two. That's a question of mine. Also, this new list will be protected. This is important. Also, will this new list be protected, and for how long? Because of course the Minatoya list is not protected, I guess. So will this new list be protected? How long? Or can it be taken away at any time as well? Okay,
Thank you
that
very
is it.
much for
I
your
just wanted
testimony.
thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Good
Members,
luck
any
with that all.
clarifying
Bye-bye.
questions? Seeing none. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Next testifier, please.
Chair, the next testifier and currently last person signed up is Tom Rogers on Teams.
Mr. Rogers.
Thank you very much. My name is Tom Rogers. I'm the general manager of the Kuleana Club in West Maui. I want to thank the temporary investigation group and this committee for the time and care that went into the report presented today. In reviewing Exhibit 2 of the TIG report, I noticed that Kuleana 1 is included among the properties recommended to be allowed for continued short-term rental use. However, Kuleana 2 was not listed. Both the parcels contain timeshare units are governed under the same AOAO. The two parcels have always operated together as one resort, sharing ownership, management, amenities, and infrastructure. The zoning and usage are identical. It appears that the mission of Kuleana 2 is simply an oversight, and I respectfully ask that both parcels be recognized as qualifying properties for continued visitor use under the TIG's recommendation. By ensuring both properties are included, you are also protecting the jobs of 5 employees who lost their homes in the Lahaina fire. People have dedicated much of their lives to the Kuleana Club and depend on this work to rebuild. Thank you for your time and your continued efforts to preserve lawful, long-standing timeshare operations that are part of Maui's continued fabric. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Member Sugimura.
Thank you. Mr. Rogers, could you tell us the names of the two properties? It was coming out muffled, so let me make sure I get it right.
Kuleana 1 and 2, he mentioned.
That's correct.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other clarifying questions? Kuleana 1 and 2. Member Paulton.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Can you tell us the TMK of the one that is on Exhibit 2 and the TMK of the one that is on Exhibit 3?
Off the top of my head, what I have here for Kuleana 2, which was not listed, is 4300 8005 0000.
4300805. Sorry, what?
000.
I'm sorry, let's start over. 4300
Got it.
800
Got it.
50000.
And you said that's not even listed at all on anything.
It wasn't in Exhibit 2. I looked at it. It was 53 pages, so if it's included somewhere else, I didn't see it.
Okay, so 43008005000 is not listed on Exhibit 2 or 3.
Okay.
Not on Exhibit 2.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next testifier, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, the next testifier is Greg Rielske on Teams.
Can you please call him again?
Mr. Rielske, it's your turn to testify and you are unmuted.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties. Can hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I just had two things I wanted to bring up. One was all of the shoreline properties. We all know what's happening with the shoreline properties. It would be interesting for that not to be necessarily excluded just because of their sea level rise. Some of us aren't quite so young and might enjoy spending the last few years of our life near the shoreline. So it would be an amazing opportunity if we could have that chance to be in those properties. And again, everyone knows what's happening there. There's no big secret there. Carving out so many properties and so many units feels like it's kind of defeating the purpose of the bill. And the other thing I just wanted to bring up is that there are a lot of residents in some of these properties along the shoreline. And speaking as a resident myself and having to deal with the Minatoya/TVR, just absolute inability to lead a normal life because you're living in the middle of a hotel. So I just kind of beg this committee to reduce the number of properties that you're suggesting to be reduced. And just give the people that are residents there a little bit of an opportunity to enjoy their investment. Thank you very much. That is all I have.
Thank you very much for your testimony, members. Any clarifying questions? Seeing none, next testifier, please.
Chair, no one else has signed up. We can continue with last call. If there's anyone in the audience or on Teams that would like to testify, please come up to the mic and begin your testimony or use the raise your hand function on Teams and staff will unmute you. I'll provide a brief countdown. 3, 2, 1. Seeing none, Chair. No one has indicated they wish to testify.
Thank you. Members, seeing there are no individuals wishing to testify without objection, I will now close oral testimony.
No objections.
Thank you very much. As a reminder, written testimony will continue to be accepted. Members, we cannot proceed with deliberations. I know we all would like to, but we cannot. Therefore, if there are no objections, I will now defer this item.
No objections.
Thank you very much. This concludes the Housing, Land Use, and Committee meeting. Thank you very much, members. It is now 10:32, and this HLU meeting is adjourned.